Hey everybody, it's Dr. V. I am back with your weekly reading for your Divine Love Connection. Now, Divine Love can include divine counterparts, twin flames, soulmates, any relationship that's really sourced in divinity, in connection with source, with divine, with divinity, with God, however you just, whatever you conceptualize that to be. So that's this reading for this week. It will be for Sunday through Sunday. I didn't post it yesterday because I was doing the monthly overviews for June. So I hope this resonates. If you are, first of all, I want to say thank you for all the new subscribers, for all the likes and shares and comments. I really appreciate it. If you would like to schedule a private reading, please feel free to do so. I am going to offer a special. I'm going to put that together this week so we can, if you want to book. And if you want to reach me quickly, you can find me on Instant Go and Ask Dr. V. And yeah, I tend to get readings back to people within a really short period of time at this point. So I hope that if you're in a place where you need some answers quickly, that might be a good option for you. So okay, so for this week, let's go over the energies, the situation, the energies of this week for the Divine Love Connections, Soulmate, Twin Flames, Divine Counterpart, Spirit. Use me as a clear channel for this message. I ask that all the messages that come through are for the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego outside of the circle, and just ask that all the messages that come through are for the highest good of humanity, for each individual that's watching, and that we each continue to individually and collectively rise and raise our consciousness and become the change that this world desperately needs. Thank you so much. Okay, so the energies of this situation. Okay, transformation, release, share the love, and forward movement. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that a couple of things is that the first thing that comes out immediately is this transformation. This is the death card in the traditional tarot. So this is something is coming to an end. There is something that has or is coming to an end this week that will really shift the connection in a powerful way. What I'm getting from this also is that with this card here, this share the love card, it is in many situations, it's the, it's abundance of love. It's like reaching out, holding this love out, making this love offer. But it also suggests, if you look at it, it's the heart is kind of breaking open. Okay, so this also to me always suggests it's the Three of Cups, and so it can represent a third party situation. It can be about certainly there are two things that two different meanings that can come from this, which is just an abundance of love, about having a lot of friends and people surrounding you. And it can also be, as I said, the Three of Cups, the third party situation. So with what I'm getting from this is reading these two cards together is that if you are in a karmic, or if you're in a relationship with someone who has a karmic partner, that it very well could be that the end of that karmic situation is coming this week, that there can be some things that happen where that release of the third party situation. Now, that's one interpretation. It could also be for you, if you're watching this, that you are a person, that if your counterpart is not a karmic situation, or you're not in a karmic situation, that this release could be about releasing old cycles, okay? Releasing the pattern where you've been up to this point and moving more into a space of being willing to share the love. So maybe one of you, if that resonates for you, maybe one of you has just been withholding and withdrawing and has not been offering as much as you can to your counterpart, and this may be a release of that, release of the old fears, release of the limiting beliefs, release of anything that you might be holding back from, to share the love. And this card to me This is the Chariot in the original tarot, the traditional tarot. But if you look at this, it's like these two hands that are bound together with this rope. It's like, it almost suggests to me like a marriage ceremony and a forward movement. So what this says to me, all of these cards together, is that something is going away. There's going to be, so something is shifting. There's going to be a really big shift that happens this week. So be prepared for that. And it's either going to be karmic situations, karmic cycles coming to an end, which will allow people to share the love more openly and take this dynamic forward movement in this connection. That is what I'm seeing for this week. So be prepared. So where is the Divine Feminine in this situation? Divine Feminine is in a space of detachment. Maybe feeling some helpless and hopeless about things, but moving into the flow. So what the Divine Feminines are in this space of detachment. So this is, to me, suggestive of that, that old saying that if you love something, let it go. If it's yours, if it comes back to you, it was meant to be. If it doesn't, it never was. That's where she is, or where they are, the Divine Feminine, because it can be a male or female. It's energies, not genders. Really releasing, opening your hands and letting go of this connection, letting go of her expectations, letting go of all of those attachments to outcome, and some of that may be triggering feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. I have seen some comments in the last 24 hours since I posted the monthly videos, have received some comments and questions from people on private readings that are basically reflecting this feeling helpless and hopeless. Like, is this ever really going to come to pass, or is this situation over and I just need to move on to a soulmate or to a different kind of situation? So that is where the feminine is this week. But it's also moving into this space of flow. So remember, and I've said this to you before, but this is my own terminology. The masculine energy is the hustle. The masculine energy is the like, get out and go and do it and make things happen. The feminine energy is the flow. So it's about learning how to operate between the hustle and the flow. It feels like the feminines have been, in many cases, kind of holding up this connection, has kind of been doing the emotional labor, has been doing the work to keep things going, doing the work to heal, and that's really great. But there's also a time where you just got to kind of lie back and let yourself flow and be in the flow and surrender. And that's where the feminine is right now. This is the Wheel of Fortune in the traditional tarot. So the feminine is definitely coming to the end of a cycle. There are things that are shifting, detaching, and moving forward. So that's really beautiful. Where the masculine is this open up energy, finding balance, and coming together. Okay, this is really beautiful. I'm really liking this. So the divine masculine is in this card right here, suggests that somebody who has been closed off for a long time. So the divine masculine has been in a space of being just shut down, not really open, heart not being open. So I'm not saying they're being cold or anything like that. I'm not getting that. It's just that there's this space of what's coming to me is this kind of like their innermost heart, their love, the deepest part of themselves has been in a space of they have been, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a vault. That's literally what I'm saying. It's like a vault where it's just been closed off. And so it's like they let you get just close enough. You feel connected enough. You feel all of those things, but you don't ever really get in there. You never get into the deepest part of who they are. They've been closing off, but now they're opening up. This week is about opening up. It's about them recognizing that they have been closed down. It's about them recognizing that if they really want the love that they say that they want, that they know that they want, that they feel that they want, that they're going to have to allow themselves to open up. It's that you cannot so what's coming through is that this idea of you can't selectively shut down your emotions. So there's a lot of people that will be like, oh, I don't want to feel pain, so I'm just going to shut down and not feel pain. You can't selectively shut down. If you shut off your emotions, you shut them off entirely. It's like you can't, or you limit them entirely. So you can't not feel pain without not feeling joy. You can't not feel rejection without feeling elation. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. You can't just like you can't put your heart in a vault and only not feel the bad things. You also limit your ability to feel the good things, and that's what the masculine is recognizing. And so they're coming to this space of finding balance this week. This week is about finding balance and letting themselves feel that balance, feel that energy, feel the joy that they have not been allowing themselves to feel. They're recognizing, and that can be part of this release that's happening, they're really recognizing that it's time for them to come into a space of balance. Like they may be recognizing this week that, you know, the feminine has detached, the feminine is moving into this state of flow. A lot of feminines have gone into have initiated or gone into separation with their masculines in the last few weeks because of feeling out of balance, feeling things were not, you know, going smoothly. And so I'm feeling that as the divine masculine begins to open up, that they are gonna recognize how out of balance they really were, like how much the feminine was giving to them, how much the feminine was pouring into them, and that they were just consuming and taking and not really giving a whole lot back. But now they're moving into a space of finding balance. And as that happens, they move into this energy of wanting to come back together, that they're gonna feel like, oh shit, like I really kind of screwed up on this one, and I really want to come together and find that balance. I'm not necessarily saying that they will move toward you this week, but what I'm getting is that they're starting to, what I feel is like this blossoming. It's like a lotus bloom that's beginning to open, like in the center of their chest, and that they're starting to see things, that wisdom is starting to come through, and they're starting to understand that how closed off they were, how out of balance they were, and that it's starting to bloom in their heart where there's like, I really want to come back together. Like she really, or they, he or she, the divine feminine really did love me and really did pour a lot and give a lot to me, and I really want to come back together in that energy. That is what's coming through. It's really beautiful. So all looking good this week. So where's the partnership headed this week, Spirit? Where's the partnership headed? Clarity of belief. Control. And shine. I really like this layout. There's a lot of major arcana this week, so just be prepared for big shifts to happen. What I'm getting from this is that somebody is going to get very clear. Okay, so it's almost like, and what I'm seeing with this is almost like a lightning bolt, like this clarity of belief, almost being like a lightning bolt that comes through, that is just like, I am so, just so clear. It's all like that moment of, I'm going to use my Bruce Almighty analogy again. It's like when Bruce Almighty is up in heaven with God, he's like, everything makes sense because he's seeing it from God's perspective. I really get the sense that it's going to be like a lightning bolt that's going to hit. It's going to be like suddenly, like where, you know, when all the tumblers turn in sync and the lock opens and everything just becomes illuminated. I really get the sense that somebody or both people are going to have this shift. It's going to be like a shift of consciousness where everything is going to make sense, where it's going to be clear, where it's like, oh my God, I understand now what was going on, and I understand why I was missing it and why I didn't see it. And there's going to be this real clear path forward with the clarity of belief. And as that happens, it's going to lead to this space of surrendering the need to control. That's the first message that came through, is surrendering the need to control. So there is going to be there has been on both parties some controlling happening, where it's like, I want to control this particular aspect. I'm not feeling X, Y, comfortable, or I want to do things differently. So there's been this sense of really wanting to be in control. Okay, and there's a surrender of that control that's happening, where it's going into that state of flow, where it's like, okay, I'm in such a space of trust that whatever is going on is going on. I no longer feel the need to control. I no longer feel the need to protect my energies or protect myself from this person. And I'm not talking about that is for people that are in a moderately healthy relationship. And I say moderately healthy because we all know that these divine connections can be really triggering, and so it can bring up some negative and some not so great behaviors, but that's not great behaviors are different than abusive behaviors. And so if someone's acting out old patterns and old beliefs, that's one thing. If somebody's being abusive, that's a whole nother ballgame. If they're being abusive, then run, don't walk. Okay. Anyway, I just felt like I needed to clarify that. Now, so some people are going to be surrendering control. They're going to be moving into a space of balance between their head and their heart space, where they're not going to just be overly thinking about things all the time. They're going to be looking at things from feeling from their heart, their soul, and their mind. Okay, so this is about being steady. It's about being patient. It's about just allowing things to be what they are and surrendering the need to control. It's being strong without being controlling. And this card is the Sun in the traditional tarot. It's the most positive card in the Major Arcana. And it's about being positive, being powerful, improving relationships, letting your light shine. It's literally about, look at her heart. This character on this card, their heart is just really wide open and shining. And that's where this connection is headed. This is where it's going this week. Is this, I just keep getting this like lightning bolt of clarity and this recognition of what's really going on, which is going to allow that heart to open up on both parts. Really understanding that this is so much bigger than any of us as individuals and bigger than just coming into union, okay? I get this all the time in my readings, is people really wanting to know what, it's all focus, so much focus on union, so much focus on coming together. And I say this pretty regularly, but I say it because it's important, that this journey is not just about coming into union. It's about transcending. It's about becoming your highest version of yourself. It's about doing the soul work, learning the lessons that you're meant to learn here. That's what this is about. It is not just about coming together into bliss and union. I don't know if you guys can see my dog, but she's wandering under the table right now. So if you're focused only on union, then you're missing the bigger picture. And that's something that we need to keep in mind, okay? That it's not just about coming into union. It's about stepping into your purpose and stepping into your mission and doing all the things that you that you were sent here to accomplish. Okay, so I want to move into the fears of the counterparts in this. Okay. I'm going to pull 2 cards for the Divine Feminine fears and 2 cards for the Divine Masculine fears. For the first, for the feminine, is struggle. The feminine is fearful of the struggle. And she's fearful, they're fearful of what is already within you. So what that means is that the feminine is in this struggle. It's like, you look at this, it's like a fish swimming upstream. The feminine is a little bit afraid of how much of this connection has been such a struggle. There's a little bit of fear around that. Like, if it's so hard, does it really mean that it's meant to be? There's some questioning, some doubt around that. That links back to that helpless and hopeless card. But what she's not, because she's fearful that she doesn't have what it takes. So if you look at this is like literally saying like what you already have what you need within, but she's afraid that she doesn't. She's afraid, or they're afraid. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get away from using gender specific pronouns, but just bear with me. I'm a work in progress here, y'all. The feminine is actually fearful that they don't have that they don't have what it takes within them, that they don't have that they can't source their own love from within, okay? There's a fear, and this is what's coming is that this is a really deep-seated, almost subconscious fear for a lot of feminines that that they don't have that within, that they don't have that ability, that they do need to have outside sources, that they do need to have that connection in order to feel that love. And that's why this is why it's been such a struggle for them. And so the sooner that y'all recognize that we all recognize that what we have within us is what we need, the better, okay? You don't need to go outside of yourself to find love. You don't need to go outside of yourself to find happiness and fulfillment. That is the whole point of this, one of the aspects and the points of this journey, is understanding that and getting to that space of recognition that what you need is already within you. You've always possessed it. You've always had it. You just need to uncover it. That's why my page has the quote by Rumi that your task is not to seek love, but to seek the barriers within yourself that have kept you from love, because you already have it. You're just blocking it in some way. You already have that. So that's the fear that you're going to be overcoming this week. The masculine is their fear is perception and spirals of manifestation. So what I'm getting from this is that they're fearful that they can't trust their perception. There's a sense that maybe they don't trust what they are perceiving or what they know. So it's like they know it on the inside, they know it internally, but they're afraid of what they know. They're afraid of going into that energy. And so they're really fearful that their perception, like what they're perceiving, is not true. So what I'm getting is that there is this sense of having perceived that the divine feminine really truly loves them, but they're questioning their perception because they may not have a healthy or a solid understanding of what love really is, and so they've really questioned that. They've really been doubting their perception and what they're seeing. And the spirals of manifestation card, this is literally about how healing happens and how any kind of manifestation happens. It's like if you imagine just see in your mind's eye for a minute like a funnel, like the tornado cloud kind of thing. And then at this top it's like wide and it's broad, and then it gets narrow and goes deeper, narrow and go deeper. That's how manifestation happens. And what the masculine is fearful of right now is that these spirals of manifestation aren't really happening, that it's not going any deeper, it's not getting any closer. They're fearful that they're just kind of circling the same mountain. That's their fear and kind of what is what's happening with them right now. So I want to look at the connective energy between the feminine and masculine this week. Ascension, beautiful. I love that. The energy that's connecting the masculine and feminine is ascending. And look at that, you guys, beyond the mind, the heart beats. So what is connecting the masculine and feminine this week is this understanding that they're ascending. Okay, so they're both on this ascension journey. They may not know it. Like there may be one party who doesn't necessarily understand what's going on, but that's what's connecting them this week, is that they're both ascending. And the next card is beyond the mind, the heartbeats. What that is talking about is that sense of knowing, that inner knowing, that you know that you freaking know that this is what's going on, that you have this faith, you have this trust, and it's just a really beautiful energy. So that is what is connecting them this week, is this, as they're both mutually ascending, and they're both like out of their, like they just know in their heart of hearts, they know their hearts. What I'm getting from this card literally is that their hearts are beating together as one. It's like this old 80s song, I think it's like Two of Hearts by Stacey Q or something is what I'm literally like, two of hearts, two hearts that beat as one. Literally, like that's what's coming through. I don't know why Spirit talks to me in song, but whatever, I'll just take it. So what are the blocks this week, Spirit? Letting go. And going beyond normal. Okay, so what this is saying to me is that the block to connection, block to union this week is as someone or both parties are having a hard time letting go. That could be letting go of expectations. It could be letting go of karmic partners. It could be letting go of their comfort zone. But what it also is saying is that this block is going beyond normal because people understand. Well, let me backtrack. Let me say this a little more clearly. Going beyond normal. So until you have experienced this kind of connection, this kind of soul level, heart-rending connection, it's like outsiders, people who haven't experienced it, look at it and they're like, this shit is crazy. Like Gwen Stefani said, this shit is bananas, right? It's literally like, it's fucking insane when you're on this path. It makes no sense. It's like somebody lied to you, they cheated on you, they did all these things, and you're like, you still love them, you still have this unconditional love. Or they have a karmic partner and you're like, I bet I still love them and I still accept them just as they are, or vice versa. It's all of this intensity, you can't explain it, and people are like, this is crazy, this doesn't even like make sense, and this isn't like you. This is not, you know, you've always been the kind of person who would like walk away from something that was toxic, and here you are in this situation putting up with, and you know, it doesn't make sense. And so what's blocking it is this understanding that that it's gonna have to go beyond normal. It's gonna have to go beyond what other people understand, even what we understand. I was talking with someone last night about this, and I was like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm a Virgo. I am the like my energy has always been this like Cardi B, like, you know, if I see you and I don't speak, it means I don't fuck with you. Like literally, like I'm quick to cut somebody off. Like literally, that's what Cardi B says. I'm quick to cut somebody off, so don't get comfortable. Like I am the type of person, just this is me personally, that I'm like, if I have a lot of love and a lot of patience, but I also have a certain point where I'm like, okay, enough is enough, and I'm just not going to continue doing this with somebody. And it's not, and you know, I don't cut people off in an angry way. I'm not like the Queen of Swords where I'll cut your head off or anything like that. I'm just like, this no longer serves me, and I love myself more than I love this relationship, and so I'm going to take care of me and, you know, redirect my energies in healthy ways. And so that's just who I am. That's who I've always been. You know, and in this particular situation, I'm like, this is crazy. Anybody else that would have done this stuff would have been like, you know, I would have done cut contact like months ago. But here I am, like, with this space of love and acceptance, and you know what I mean? And so my point being that this is a block that we have to stop trying to attach value and trying to understand this divine connection from a human perspective. We cannot understand an infinite God from our finite minds, if that makes any freaking sense. I hope it makes sense. I felt like I kind of rambled for a minute, but that message wanted to come through, that this is literally, we cannot understand this from our limited human perspective. Stop trying to understand it. It's a block to union to try and make a 5D, you know, heavenly connection fit into an earthly understanding. It's just not going to freaking work. You just have to surrender to it. You just have to let go of all of the expectations and all of the things that we think things are supposed to look like, and go beyond normal. Allow ourselves to transcend into what is instead of what we think it should be. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on from that part. I hope that made sense. I hope it resonated. It made sense to me, and to be very honest with you, I needed to hear that today too. So let's go into headspace and heart space. Okay, the headspace of the person who's not watching. Okay, so Spirit, any insight into the headspace for the person who's not watching? This is for those of you who, again, I don't like these labels, but it makes sense to people. You're probably in the chaser, quote unquote chaser energy if you're the watcher. So these would be where the runner headspace is. Releasing your ex. Okay, they're clearing their energy in their headspace. In their headspace, they're like, this could be the one. And reconciliation, thoughts about coming together. Okay, so what this is saying to me is that in their mind space, they are understanding that you could be the one, okay? They're like, this could be the one. This person that they're thinking of, which is you, the watcher, they're recognizing that this could be the one, but they also know that in order to come back together, that they're going to have to release their ex. They're going to have to clear that energy. They cannot continue carrying all of these ex-lovers and all of these old energies or karmic partners or whatever into this connection, but they want to reconcile. They're thinking thoughts of coming back together. Where are they in their heart space? Healing family issues. This keeps coming up. They're really doing a lot of work with that. deception, they're still not being fully honest. Okay, so just be careful with that. They're still not being fully honest about things. So I'm not saying that they're actively deceiving you, that they're lying to you. What I'm getting from this actually is that they're not being fully honest with themselves about things either. So just in their hearts, but it's becoming more clear. What this is saying, being in their heart space, is that they're becoming more clear about the fact that they haven't been fully honest with themselves or with others about where they are and what's going on. In their heart space, they're really trying to work through these cultural, social, religious factors. So it's like, if they have limiting beliefs around relationships because of religion, because of social, cultural factors, they're really working through those energies because they recognize it as a hindrance. So let me move that up. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. The Divine Masculine cards, the Buddha Wisdom Divine Masculine. So basically like a message for the Divine Masculine Spirit, a message for the Divine Masculine from the Divine Masculine Buddha Wisdom cards. Interesting that this came up with the as this deception card. It says, when your words are lies, where will your mischief end? So what God, the divine source, is working with the masculine this week is about that deception. So this has been this deception, this dishonesty, this lack of candor with themselves, with others, is an issue. It's been an issue for a long time. They are, and they need to get it together. Literally, that's the energy that's coming through, is that Spirit is saying, like, enough is enough. Like, you've been dishonest. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest with others. So when you're not being honest, it's just this continual cycle of, mischief is what it says, but it's more of like, mischief seems like fun and playful. This is more of like destructive, okay? The energy that's coming through. So what I'm getting is that this week that the divine is really going to be working overtime with the masculine energies on honesty, on coming clean, on ceasing these patterns of deception, self-deception, deception of others. So, message for the feminine. This is from the Divine Feminine Oracle. Teresa of Avila. I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. Okay, this is going back to that energy that we talked about earlier of the feminine feeling like perhaps that she doesn't have what it is within her to manage this. Well, this is saying, look, this is what Spirit is working with you this week, is to understand that you do have the answers within you. You do have what it takes within you, and that is your job. Your task this week is really to focus on mining those gems from within your soul, so that you can get what it is that you need, that you can find and tap into that love that is real. It's deep within you, without necessarily having to attach it to an outside source. Okay, so moving these aside, I hope those messages resonate for you. Definitely resonates for me. And as a final is messages from your divine counterpart. Spirit, messages from the divine counterpart who's not watching. Okay, that one jumped out. Transformation. Your relationship with one another is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. That goes very much in alignment with the cards that we pulled out. Spirit, more messages. Let's see, 2 more messages from the... Oh, okay. Those 2 jumped out together. First one is trust. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. Awesome. Manifesting miracles. Your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance. That is 3 transformation cards that came up. trust and transformation. That's the theme of this week. So really stay in that space of trust and allow things to transform, literally accepting things as they are. Carl Rogers is an American psychologist. You guys have probably heard about him. One of my favorite quotes that he said was, the curious paradox is that when we accept people as they are, then they can begin to change. And that is the final message that's coming through right now, is that as we accept things and people as they are, then things will begin to change. So I hope this reading resonated. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or you want to book a private reading. Thanks again so much for all your support, love, likes, and be sure that you hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Talk with you all soon. Take care. Bye.